Noisy Pixel. Being a fan of detective visual novels is pretty tough in the West, especially when one of my favorite series in the genre isn't always localized. While the Jake Hunter series is well known in the adventure visual novel community, he hasn't taken off in the West as some of his more cartoonish counterparts. However, Arc Systems Works isn't letting fans wait too long to experience the brand new entry in the series that also doubles as the perfect entry point for new ones. I'm Zara Lopez and this is Noisy Pixel's review for Alternate Jake Hunter, Daedalus, The Awakening of Golden Jazz.
かなりのヘビースモークを一人静かに吸っていたっけ？別に思わないな。
Alternate Jake Hunter begins by introducing players to a young Saburo Jinjuji, or as he's better known as in the West, Jake Hunter. Saburo is visiting his detective grandfather in New York from Japan and being taught the power of deduction through small investigation games. The opening of the game does well to teach players the game's new systems and investigation mechanics, as well as the interrogation features. The story fast forwards to Saburo as a young adult returning to New York after his grandfather was murdered. Wanting to understand why someone would want to kill his grandfather, Saburo finds himself heading down the rabbit hole as he uncovers the truth. Alternate Jake Hunter has a nice build-up to the final act. I enjoy the little items and clues scattered throughout the game that make sense after new realizations are made. What's interesting is that the game doesn't try to throw you curveballs or twist endings. Sure, there are surprises that lurk around every corner, but the player is just as much as a detective in the game as Saburo, as you are both making these realizations together. Which is nice because Saburo doesn't randomly pull information out of thin air that he's been withholding from the player. Players will travel across multiple maps as they investigate several leads for the case. There's a moment in the game that I really liked where I got to solve a case as a young Saburo with his friends. However, this doesn't happen again, which is a shame because the parallels of Saburo solving cases as a kid and young adult would be interesting to see more of while learning more about his friendship with these kids. Exploration is done by using the newest feature in the series, the 360-degree camera. In every scene, the player is able to look around themselves 360 degrees as they investigate environments and get a closer look at items of interest. Like other Jake Hunter games before, the story is rather linear to a point, although there are some different endings and even game over screens that can be encountered. However, investigation can be a bit tedious if you try to do things before speaking to a certain person. Yes, the game will let you, but it will have you search them again after you talk to a person who asks you to search the place. Screw-ups in the game don't really have consequences to them, as the game has a story it wants to tell. I really enjoyed the graphical direction of the game and its adventure elements. I found that the chances that the development team took in this new design to be commendable, even though fans might be more accustomed to the comic book-like themes of the Jake Hunter series. The environments seem to be real locations given a watercolor-like filter, which makes the character illustrations stand out more prominently. Localization in the game was done well, which is important to portray the accurate tone and delivery. Saburo and the player don't want to deal out all their cards at once, so keeping the suspects in the dark about how much we know is key, and the localization team did a great job in making these tense moments easy to follow and well delivered. As far as the Jake Hunter series goes, Alternate Jake Hunter is as good as they come. It has everything the fans will enjoy about the series, and the more hardcore fans will find additional enjoyment in the little doses of fan service sprinkled throughout the game, including iconic characters from the series. The one thing that ends up hurting the game is its 10-hour runtime, which is longer than most Jake Hunter games but might leave players wanting more. However, there are additional endings to get. Alternate Jake Hunter is a masterclass detective game with all the clues laid out right in front of you, and together with the young and yet to be famous Saburo, you'll piece together this tragic event and crack the case wide open. I truly enjoyed myself with the game and feel like it was the perfect way to bring the Jake Hunter series to a new console generation and introduce him to a new fan base. Noisy Pixel is giving Alternate Jake Hunter, Daedalus, The Awakening of Golden Jazz an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is ran by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
それにしてもだろ自分でも思うよちょっと